What's up, y'all? It's Truth Tiger. I got another narcissist video for y'all today. So today I'm going to talk about the narcissistic mother who wants to marry her own son. And this is more, I guess, what I would call maybe emotional incest. I've heard that term used before. And it's a very weird dynamic, and I'm not talking about marriage literally here. I'm just using it as a metaphorical sense, but in a lot of ways it's like they're unhappy in their marriage with their husband. Their father was probably a narcissist himself, of this narcissistic mother, and she hasn't really had a proper man in her life, and hasn't had that, that hole, hasn't had that void in her life, that thing that's like, I want a man. She hasn't had that, that spot hasn't been taken. So she looks to her own son. She looks to her own child to fill that role. And the thing about looking to your own child is, your children are people that, parents have a lot of control and influence over their own children. They have a massive amount of control and influence over their own children. And children don't really tend to cut contact with their parents. I have personally, because of narcissism and stuff like that, I've had to, but in general, that contact tends to stick around. So, the reason why they do that is like, there's fear of abandonment. Oh, my child will never leave me. There's fear of having someone disagree with you, having someone not approve of you, having things not work out, whatever, all those kinds of fears. If it's your own child, you don't have to deal with all that, You do not have to deal with all that. And let me just clarify, I'm talking about in an emotional sense, and I'm using marriage in a metaphorical sense. Obviously very sick things happen. People do very sick things, but I'm not referring to any of that. I'm just referring to it in an emotional sense. But yeah, the child's not going to be, not going to leave them. And then they expect their own son to provide emotional support and leadership in the way a husband would for them, and it's a very weird, very twisted up, very twisted up, weird dynamic, very weird dynamic. And, I could just tell you, like, when I was a little kid, my mom would not call me honey or baby or anything like that. But once I turned around, 13, 14, something like that, I'd say around 14 years old, hit my growth spurt, kind of, look like an adult-ish, then all of a sudden it's honey, it's baby, it's all this kind of stuff, and it always made my skin crawl. Hey babe, hey there. And I always would tell her, don't call me babe, it makes me feel weird, I don't like it, I think it's weird, I don't think it's appropriate, and she'd keep doing it and stuff and whatever, but it was always very strange. And then she wants to kind of treat me like a boyfriend and talk to me about her all, I don't know, and just talk to me about all her problems from the time I was a little kid, and that's more about people trying to make you into their personal therapist and stuff like that. But just, and then even with my older brother, I remember, she'd go by the bathroom after he got out of the shower and was like, oh, it smells so good in here, it smells so good around here, blah, 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 blah. And even then, I remember being maybe, 12 years old or so, and I kind of picked up on that, and I was like, that's really creepy and weird, and why she's kind of sniffing around like that, and just weird crap with narcissistic parents. Very weird crap. Very weird stuff. Very strange scenario. And, it's like you want parents to kind of hold you down. You want parents who, are responsible, who you can look to as leaders and stuff like that. And, everything is so twisted up with the narcissist. It's like they want you as the child to lead them. It's very, it's extremely confusing. It's an extremely weird, strange situation. And I've heard of people, guys who've had narcissistic mothers, and they get a girlfriend or they get married or something like that, and the mom becomes super jealous and super weird and super strange, and maybe even tries to sabotage the relationship because he's my little honey, you can't steal him away from me. And I've heard a lot of stuff like that, and that's very weird and creepy. And I know a lot of dads will do that with their daughters and stuff. They'll be all jealous and weird if their daughter has a boyfriend, and they'll try to, bust that one up, and try to be jealous of that. And I mean, these scenarios go both ways, but I'm talking about the mother today. But yeah, man, that's just a very weird one. But and if you're a woman and you're dating a guy and he's got this narcissistic mother and he's enabling, or he's a narcissist himself, it's just like he'll expect you to be, his mom, or, he'll be like, oh, I need to have my mom come over to fold the sheets just the way I like it. And, you don't want that, You don't want that. You don't want to have to deal with that. You don't want to be around that. You're going to be having to compete with his mother for affection and stuff like that. And, oh, man, it's just very, very weird, And I know for my own mom, she really wanted, fatherly encouragement from me, And I would tell her, oh, you did a good job driving the car or something. And she would, oh, thank you so much. No one's ever given me a compliment. And I'm like, oh my God, this is too weird. I want to be nice. I don't want to be a mean person. I want to do the right thing. I want to break the cycle and break this dynamic, but man, this is just too strange to have to be around, This makes me uncomfortable. Makes me very uncomfortable, And then it'd be things like she'd get a boyfriend, whatever, You're divorced, you want to have a boyfriend, you want to get remarried, you want to live your life, do you? Fine, cool, But then she would try to, get me to be a guard dog, and to try to get me and the boyfriend to be jealous of each other and to fight amongst each other and to do kind of things like that. And, at some point, if you think your mom's dating some guy that you shouldn't be dating, you're going to say something, but you don't want to be her dad and get in the middle of all this and, doing stuff that gets attention for her. And, man, it's been a lot of stuff like this, and it's just exhausting, because it'll be like, she'll be, oh, I'm going to invite so-and-so over, and then he's hanging out, and you're there, and he's there, and he's trying to either play all friendly and be all nice, or he's like, hey, can we hang out, just you and me, not with your kids, or, just stuff like that of, putting me in between them, and just stuff where I'm just like, oh my God, and just very, very weird stuff. And man, this is a hard video for me. I'm sorry, you guys. This is a hard video. I'm saying a lot, kind of struggling to get my thoughts together here, but this is a hard video, and I know a lot of y'all have gone through this type of stuff and have dealt with these narcissistic parents who are very immature and weird and inappropriate in the dynamics and stuff like that. And I just remember, like, just being a teenager, it's like my mom would want to go out and watch a movie with me and stuff, and, oh, let's go out, it's just you and me on a Saturday night. And I was involved in Orthodox Judaism. I was extremely religious and extremely cut off and trapped in a religious kind of thing, so I didn't have like a normal life or a normal social life, so I'd go hang out with her and stuff. But yeah, man, it was just like, it was just gross, you know? It was just gross. It was just weird. It was just nasty. And it was just very strange and hard to explain, and just, you know, very hypocritical. Very hypocritical. And, you know, I'll give a little background on my family, but, you know, I grew up as an Orthodox Jew. My mom is an Orthodox Jew, or became one. She was a hippie when she was younger, culturally Jewish, but not involved in religion in any kind of a way. She was a hippie, partying, whatever, doing all the things hippies do, you know, living that boomer life. And whatever, gets older, meets my dad, not Jewish, and whatever. My dad is a separate video, also a narcissist and all this kind of stuff, and whatever. She decides to, you know, become all religious, and now I'm trapped in this religion, having to do all this stuff, getting my childhood messed up, and having to go through all this pain. And I don't know what it was to her, but like, I'm a little kid being pushed in this stuff. I really believe it's true, you know, and then, you know, not really as much as a teenager, but, you know, believe it's true as a little kid, and pretty much believe it's true as a teenager, kind of ish. And I remember one day, my mom brings this book home by a guy named R. Crumb, and he's this really weird guy during the hippie times, and he would draw all these pictures of him, like comic books of him, and it's like all these giant women, and it's very perverted and demented and weird, and he's riding on their backs, and sometimes sometimes they're degrading him, but sometimes he's like degrading them and treating them like farm animals. And the whole, I mean, if you look into it, it's very weird and demented. And, you know, going from this very puritanical, religious, you know, kind of life, and then all of a sudden she's bringing that home, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? This is so weird. This is not appropriate. I remember just reading through it, just being like, man, this is pretty demented, you know? And just kind of stuff like that, where, you know, it's just in that direction, you know? And, you know, then I remember she's going through the divorce and stuff, and, you know, she's you know, we're hanging out around the Orthodox Jews and stuff, because that's my community, that's what I come from. Then all of a sudden she starts wearing mini skirts and wearing short skirts and doing all this stuff, and, you know, that's very taboo among Orthodox Jews. You know, they have an edict that women need to be covered to the elbows and to the knees and stuff like that. And I remember just feeling a lot of confusion and anger, and really not being happy, you know, with her, and really just feeling like, you know, that my whole life was a complete lie, and she's trying to gallivant around me like I'm her boyfriend and stuff. And, you know, it's kind of tough to set a boundary with someone when you live in the same house with them, and when you're relying on that person for, you know, food and clothes and stuff, and you just have to deal with the weirdness and the insanity. But I remember being very upset, and, you know, not knowing how to handle that and deal with that. And I remember thinking, like, man, I don't want to have my friends come over. I know the stuff they're going to say, you know, I know the stuff they're going to say about me. I know the stuff they're going to say about my family. I know what they're going to talk about, you know. So, man, you know, and just getting older and whatever, it's like nobody wanted me to, I don't know, go to college or have stuff happen or whatever. I had to figure everything out myself. And it's like my mom never wanted me to leave the house, or never wanted me to leave her, and wanted to shove me back in the womb, you know. And it's just like, just this really unhealthy, controlling, just weird kind of crap, you know. And even as a little kid, I remember as a little kid, she's like, you'll never leave the family. I'll always be your mother. You'll never leave me, blah, 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 blah. And I remember being like 8 years old or something, being like, yeah, sure, Mom. And I'm like, just gotta get this person off my back so I can feel normal and be a kid for a bit, you know? And, you know, my childhood was stolen by that. You know, a lot of our childhoods were stolen by narcissistic parents and just narcissistic weirdness, and for me, Orthodox Judaism, and a lot of people have been involved in other religions and the LDS, hardcore Catholicism, Islam, I don't know, whatever it is, but some kind of weird cult, Scientology, I don't know, but a lot of people have been involved in this stuff and have had their childhoods messed up and stolen by it, and, you know, man, and I really think that the controlling, overbearing mother and religion, I really think there's a connection, you know, and I'll go over that in other videos, but I really feel a connection because it's like religion is kind of like a feminine kind of thing, like the military or, you know, the government or, I don't know, some kind of stuff like that is more like masculine. It's more the masculine authority, you know, and then like the church and religion, it's more like a feminine kind of thing. So I just think with a lot of it, it's just like there's a lot of weird controlling women and a lot of weird stuff going on, because with a lot of friends I grew up with, that kind of controlling woman was very, very common. I saw it a lot, and it just seemed like everyone's mom was some kind of weird controlling broad. And, you know, in terms of seeing a mother who was just a normal, chill woman was pretty rare, you know. It really was. And man, you know I'm going all over the place with this video, and this is just a tough video to make, but it's just it's not right. It's not fair, you know, because you want to hold to your parents, you want to hold to your family, you know, you want to be a part of this. The last person you want to shut out and abandon is your own mother, but you have to, you know? You have to. I've talked to other guys about it, and it's like, it's going on into their 30s and 40s, and they're married and they have kids, and they've still got this crazy mother trying to come in and control everything and be guilt-tripping them and just trying to make them need them, you know? That's what a lot of it is. It's like, you know, a lot of these controlling mothers, they want to be needed and needed. You need to need me. And they're jealous of other women, you know, Jezebels, you know, they're jealous of other women and against other women, and, you know, just trying to get your attention. And oh my God, it's just, it's a weird dynamic, you know, and it's a dynamic I didn't think I'd have to break. I didn't think I'd have to, you know, get rid of this individual, unfortunately, but it's just, you know, it's a big abuse of the family ties. It's a big abuse of the parental ties. It's just, it's a whole bunch of big BS. And, you know, with my mom in particular also, like, when she's not getting attention, she'll freak out. So, is something wrong? Do you have a problem? Is there something wrong with you? Why aren't you calling me? Why aren't you texting me? You must be sick. You must be ill. You must be crazy. You must be messed up. You must have a big, big problem. If, you know, she just really just freaking berated me with that crap. And I was not going to listen to that. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to have that in my life whatsoever, you know, not at all for any reason. And, you know, I've talked to other siblings, and she'll just start going crazy on them for no reason and stuff, and, you know, just start doing all this crazy dumb stuff to get attention. And it's just like, my God, are you an adult? You know, you're acting like a 3-year-old. What are you doing? You know? And it's tough. It really is. You know, I'm going to end this video here. I don't know if I really got it all out in this video. I'll probably need to make another video on this and revisit this topic in a couple weeks or something when I'm more prepared to do it. But, you know, I feel just, you know, this just got me feeling emotional, you know. It really did, because just just that creepy dynamic was going on all throughout my teenage years and stuff. And just even stuff like I remember being younger, being like 13 years old, being kind of chubbier, you know, whatever. You're a kid, you're a little chubbier, you know. And I remember my mom just saying mean and nasty things about that and being weird about that and whatever. And so I don't know. And then I remember like getting in good shape and losing weight, and then all of a sudden she's so like hanging on me and hanging around me and, you know, wanting to know what I'm doing and so up on me. And I'm just realizing how just gross and disgusting that was, and just how not a good dynamic that is, and just very, very strange. And, you know, yeah, so I'm gonna end it here. God bless you all, but I'll try to revisit this and get a better video for you guys. Peace out, and I'll see you next time.